Okay, lovely. So hopefully you can hear me. It's a little windy out here. I came outside because it was too pretty to be inside. Plus, I may or may not be wanting to clean. So this is my book journal. I normally don't decorate too much of the book journal, but I'm showing you this because I actually took time this year to do a little bit of stuff. I quickly fell off. Keep that in mind. While I like decorating stuff, I just don't have the time to do it. I did a book challenge. Um, so far, I've done pretty good about it. And then obviously, I'll do like a favorite of all 50 states for the year. And then I have the first, like I'm doing it by the first letter, so it's A to Z challenge, and then a book bingo. Yes, my book bingo looks a little bit different than most, mostly because I just wanted to add more books. Obviously, my did not finish, and then I have like my book galleries. So let's see if I can get this to stay in there here. So I have that. I have a lot of book galleries. So I did enough for 200 books. And then obviously, this is my monthly reviews kind of thing. And then it goes into like my monthly reviews. So the first book I read this year was an arc, and it's by Mistress. It's called Mistress of Hours. Bleh, words are hard. By Emma Elizabeth. I gave that a definite 3 to 4 stars. There were some times where I had a little bit of good stuff, a little bit of bad stuff, but all in all, that was a really great book, really good read, easy read, well worth it. So if you haven't read it, go read it. And then I had a couple of rereads, which was Richard Castle's book. So it's Heat Wave off of the show Castle. I really, really love those books, and I do own first editions of them. So that's just a thing. It was kind of a thing. However, right after that, as you can see, I read this little book right here, and it's called Manacled. And Manacled tore me to pieces to the point where I didn't really read for a little while. Okay. And when I say that, I just didn't know which way was up after that. Really wonderful book. Can't wait to see the book that's coming out by Sinyan Yun. I do have it pre-ordered. I got it from Waterstones, actually. I was going to get it from Barnes & Noble, but Waterstones had such a cute edition. I got it from there. So that was what I did. Then, of course, I went on to Christmas Land, and you can find Christmas Land on here on the TikTok shop. I'll actually link it below. But I got it from her as a lovely gift. I got that, and then her Sweet Tea series, which I'll also link below. But I got both of those there. Really cute Christmassy story. I then went on to read the Hallmark movie of it, and it was absolutely adorable. I love Hallmark movies. There's a time and place for them, but there's also a time where it's like, okay, maybe I need something a little more. But those are really sweet. Then I read A Thousand Broken Pieces by Tilly Cole. And she's also the author of Sick Fuck in here, which is a very taboo book. However, I read A Thousand Boy Kisses. So, of course, I had to read A Thousand Broken Pieces. Not only did both those tear me into a million pieces, they are good reads or were worth it. They definitely tore me into pieces. Then I went on to reading one of my all time favorites. I don't know what chose me to read it that day, but I did. And it's well worth it every single time I read it. I read it probably once a year. Yes, that may be a little lot, but it's my favorite. My favorite would be Little Women. Little Women is my book of choice on any given point. I love Little Women. Then I went on to Demon Boyfriend, which is by Jessica Cage, and she's also awesome. I think the line in the book that got me was booty juice. So if you know, you know. So if you haven't read that book, there's also a couple other books that goes in that series, but booty juice definitely did get me. And then I read by M.J. Koki, Lantern. It's kind of like a short story. It was like 30 pages. I didn't know what to do with that book after I was done with it. And when I say book, it was an entire story in 30 pages. She did wonderful at that. It's kind of like a horror mixed with it was pretty much a horror, but it's kind of a thriller as well. Well worth it. Then I went on to reading Fourth Ring. I reread that and reread Iron Flame. We were just waiting for the book to come out. Those are absolutely wonderful books. I love the author. I love the books in general. And then because I was still waiting on the book to come out, I read Oops, I've Fallen. And that is a cute little rom-com, which I didn't want to go into any other fantasies. I was waiting on Onyx Storm to come out. But it's by Max Monroe. and definitely well worth the read. So, of course, Onyx Storm, waiting on it. I will tell you this, though, wasn't my favorite. I'm hoping that book 4 and 5 blow me out of the water. Onyx Storm was just not my thing at all, not my thing. But I will still keep reading her stuff because I like the first books too so much that I felt like she's allowed one that doesn't really have one that's really big. And then I read books for it's by PJ Nelson. It's really cute. It was like a who done it kind of story, like a uh, the clue game, I guess. That's kind of where I went. So then I read The Ritual with my book club. It's not my thing. It's not my thing because I don't think you need to drug people for them to like you. She was already into a lot of stuff, so you didn't have to drug her. That's my only take on that. I will not finish that series at all because of that. And then I went on to The Courting of Bristol Keats. Wonderful book. I can't wait for the second one to come out. It is coming out this year and it is pre ordered as well. And that was all of my January books. And of course, then I wrote kind of a synopsis of what was going on. Thank you.